When the Rounders first played in theaters in 1965, it was the lonesome dove of its day, a movie about cowboys working and having fun.
That means only one thing.
Trouble.
But before there was a Rounders movie starring Henry Fonda and Glenn Ford, there was the book The Rounders, published 5 years before in 1960. And before the book, there was a little boy on a horse in northern New Mexico.
I was 4 years old when I started working with horses, actually riding them and following cows.
Max Evans was that little boy who, long before he wrote about it, lived the life of a cowboy.
They didn't have any mail, no TV, no radio, no electric lights, nothing. So they had to entertain themselves, and that's what I grew up with, was admiring and enjoying their camaraderie. There was no doctors, there was nothing. You break a leg, you just tie a board on it till they could finally get you to a doctor, maybe sometimes a day later.
Before he got around to writing about it, Evans painted it.
And this is the first one I'd ever done with a palette knife. You can see where that old horse is working his ears and getting ready to set up. If that rope's going to go around those horns, and that old cowboy's getting ready to set up, and nobody knows or ever will know if he caught that cow.
Just back from World War II, Evans painted this piece based on his experience at Normandy.
You'd have mortar duels. The Germans would be firing at us, we'd be firing at them, and that flash in the night just fascinated me.
Evans sold 300 paintings before he put down the brush and picked up the pen.
I walked in the house one day and I told Pat, I said, you know what? She stopped and looked at me. I said, I'm going to quit painting and I'm going to write the rest of my life.
When he said, hey, we're going to start over, I thought, oh dear, oh dear.
Evans' wife, Pat, has been with him every step of the way. She even helped him type The Rounders, the book that changed their lives.
I even love it myself. Some places I just type, I just get so tickled I couldn't hardly type. You know, it really is a kind of a funny book.
Up until The Rounders, most cowboy movies were shoot-'em-ups about gunslingers. But Max Evans was the first one to write the real cowboy story about cowboys wrangling horses and having fun. Since then, Evans has written more than 15 novels, including The High-Low Country.
Risk may be the best part of it.
Made into a movie in 1998 starring Woody Harrelson. He's also written numerous works of nonfiction, but it was The Rounders that opened the door to Hollywood.
Lee Marvin became a wonderful, crazy old boy to party with.
Love. That's a mighty fancy word.
He had a strange thing about him, old Lee Marvin. He wasn't, he had no close friends in the world unless they'd been in combat.
Even as those friends have faded away, 5 decades later, The Rounders still holds magic.
He put it all on paper and made it funny and made it real and made it warm, and it just has stayed in print for over 50 years.
Half a century later, Evans explains his success in the understated way of a cowboy.
In the first place, you're lucky to ever get run down, and then you're even luckier if you sell the sucker and it's published. So I guess we're just working off of luck here.
That little old book went on to become a screenplay, a movie, and a lifetime of recognition.
I never dreamed that it would just take off and live 50 years. I never dreamed I'd live 50 years, for God's sake. I never dreamed it.